Hi, and welcome to another job of A&A Masonry. On this job, it's a repeat customer of mine, and we're doing an interlocking driveway. We're replacing old with new, and I just want to spend a moment and talk with you about the reasons why these things, interlocking that is, fails and becomes compromised and looks old and tired and the weeds and all the things that you traditionally and commonly hear with interlocking. However, if you install it correctly with the right product, it'll last and look beautiful and make the house really, really stand out when it's done correctly. And one of the reasons with this job here, why the homeowner contacted me, was because the interlocking in some of the areas, not only was it compressing down and dropping from the cement concrete floor in the garage and the sidewalk and various areas and destroying the interlocking itself because it puddles water, and that, like a brick exposed to water, gets spalling and decays and erodes at that time. Also the tree roots, and this big beautiful evergreen tree here, standing tall and standing straight, it looked as though the roots were staying and growing underneath and pushing the interlock up. And that appearance is due to a couple of things. Number one, this more immediate tree is the source of the root, and that did grow out, so that kind of lifted the interlocking. But moreover, because of the subgrade and where the concrete was here, the slab, it actually compressed down. It kind of dropped, and a lot of that is really the base and the subgrade, as we call it. If that's done correctly, with the products that are manufactured today, this job will last for decades and decades. It won't be a problem, and it'll look beautiful just as the day the product was manufactured. And it's all in the base here. A lot of you are familiar maybe with what we call a limestone screening, and it's nice to pack it down and to give a subgrade base, but it holds water. It's dusty. Water will remove some of that finer aggregate, and that'll cause the sinking. But moreover, it's when it holds the water that when it's freezing, it'll expand and it'll shift the interlocking up, and then it'll come back when it's melted and then settle in an unusual fashion, and that will allow for more weeds and the exposure in the cracks there. There'll be a greater area there. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove all this. This is a day of demo. We're going to deal with that root there without affecting the tree. That's a consideration that definitely the homeowner wanted. And we're going to scrape this down, and we're going to put in a nice subgrade base of high performance bedding, which essentially is just a larger granular grade of aggregate for limestone. And what that does is allow for more air between the aggregate pieces. And when water flows through there, it has little or no effect of all when it freezes and it accumulates water. It filters away, it drains away, and it really stabilizes or self-levels the interlocking underneath. So we're managing the water underneath this material, and that way when we take it from a hard surface, the hard line as we call it, which won't change, which is the garage floor threshold here, we can move it all the way back and all our hard areas and move the water on the surface in a direction that we want. And also underneath, we know because the interlocking is permeable, when it gets through the joints, it's got to move away without getting stopped and compacted there where it's going to heave in the freezing cycles. We're going to take this up to the front. They've got a nice little small concrete walkway. We're going to throw some natural stone on that on top. And this house is going to look beautiful from the curb all the way up. And that's the important thing. We're going to put a nice little edge here. So let's watch the guys work. They're going to take this away, prep it up, and you'll see the transformation. It'll look beautiful. And we know that if we've dealt with the water, the important thing for A&A Masonry is that it's built to last.
A&A Masonry, an award-winning company servicing the Greater Toronto Area and the Golden Horseshoe.
Now, I just wanted to bring you back here on the front entrance just to show you a job where we just kind of throw an addition into this, where we're going to do the nice interlocking from the walkway, the driveway, and then we come to the original concrete step and slab in front of the doorway. It's just a wonderful add-on to just do a nice natural stone. And the fact that here where you can see the interlocking is sunk, we're going to do it in a way so we're going to bring everything up to code, meaning that the step rise on the first step is going to match within code. So we're going to make sure the interlock is risen up to a point where it just falls within that threshold of that code. And then that way it's going to be a nice natural step up or step down. And with the proper base, again, that high performance bedding, it won't want to sink, which is traditional what you see in inferior interlocking jobs where water will kind of lean this way, compress it down, and then all of a sudden you get a much bigger step over the years. And that is a common call that we get, is to kind of re-level or relay interlocking. Shouldn't have to happen if it's done right, but it's going to look beautiful. The other thing I want to bring to point here is that interlocking trade is different than masonry trade. And even though this is a very small masonry job, we want to make sure we put our very best on it. So this crew has the ability to do top-notch masonry, stone masonry, manage the water flowing off, and the interlocking to grade everything and to do all this prep on the subgrade base. The final prep to this is going to, or finish to this, is going to be the polymeric sand, which, as you know, has a weed kill in it. So that's going to prevent all those negative images that you may have with interlocking of a bygone era where there's weeds, expanding joints, and compression and sinking. That's not going to happen in this case. So from the curb all the way up to the front door, we're going to completely transform the front of this house. It's going to look amazing.
As Greg mentioned in the introduction, the interlocking you see here in this driveway was in serious need of replacement. This system dated back 30 to 40 years, from a time when interlocking installations lacked the advanced water management solutions we use today. As a result, the stones had shifted and sunk, weeds were growing through the joints, and the surface had become both unsightly and unstable. The first step in the process was the full demolition of the existing interlocking stone. Piece by piece, the aging system was carefully dismantled and removed from the property. With the old interlock gone, the crew prepared and regraded the subbase to ensure proper drainage, allowing water to flow safely away from the home and toward the street. High-performance bedding, known as HPB, was then spread evenly across the driveway. This step is critical, as the bedding must be precisely graded and perfectly level to properly support the new stone and maximize long-term durability. Once the base was complete, the installation of the new interlocking stone began. Starting from the garage and working downward, the crew laid the stone in a custom design unique to this driveway. The gray stone was accented with a black border along the edges, creating a clean, modern contrast. As the driveway approaches the sidewalk, you'll notice the sidewalk cuts through at an angle. This required custom stone cutting to ensure a seamless transition, where the driveway meets both the sidewalk and the roadway. This level of detail is highly specialized work, and the craftsmanship here speaks for itself. The walkway leading to the front door was completed using the same stone design, tying the entire space together visually. The front steps were then finished with custom-cut stone and measured precisely to meet code requirements, resulting in a strong, safe, and elegant entrance. In addition, the crew installed a stone retaining wall to properly contain the plants and shrubs along the side of the driveway. Decorative stone was also added around the landscaping, completing the hardscape and enhancing the overall curb appeal. Finally, polymeric sand was swept into all the joints throughout the driveway and walkway and lightly watered to activate the bonding process. What you see here is the completed project, a fully transformed driveway, walkway, and front entrance that dramatically enhances the home's curb appeal. We invite you to explore more projects like this on the A&A Masonry YouTube channel, where quality craftsmanship is our standard. Be sure to like this video and subscribe for more exterior renovation inspiration.
To schedule your next project, contact A&A Masonry today.